the thing for me is we've been bought out and purchased, in the it runs so deep. I don't even know the word I really want to say, but the transgression runs so deep on our side of the aisle that at what point could we have any reasonable expectation for anyone that we elect, particularly the bunch that's fomenting to the top, right? The Hillary Clinton style Democrats. How can we have any expectation that they're going to change the system when they are capitalizing on the system just like everybody else?
Well, I think because those people are the candidates of the past. They're not Hillary Clinton, if she won, would represent a mistake on the Democratic Party of thinking their past can fit the current and future course of the party. I don't think the party survives on that course. The only course is away from the Clinton-style candidates and towards what people like Alex Law are doing. That model is the future. Because it's the only sustainable future. Like if the Democratic Party doesn't choose that road, there is no other road that doesn't lead to a cliff.
Yeah.
So I think making sure we push, whether dragging, kicking, screaming, the Democratic Party down that road is the only way any of this works long term, because people aren't going to the ratings for Congress are going to continually be in single digits as long as they know it's dysfunctional and that both sides are essentially bought, so the things they're fighting over really don't even matter that much. So that's how I feel.
Well, and part of the problem too is, like, we've talked about this several times now. We have increased voter apathy. I mean, yeah, people turn out for presidential elections because of the scare tactics and stuff, but beyond that, the Democratic Party has not been able to adjust and really galvanize and motivate the party. Now, people will say, oh, Bernie's failing because the voter turnout is not high. Well, actually, when you look at the numbers, Bernie's getting the new voters. Bernie's getting the voters who haven't participated in a while. Bernie's getting the independents. Bernie's getting young people. So what he's doing is working. He needs to do more of it. We need to do more of it as grassroots. But the DNC as a whole has really faltered in the last several years of being able to really address and reach issues and provide a viable alternative. I mean, just saying, hey, we're not super crazy and evil like those guys, that might get you just enough to win an election. But in terms of these midterm elections, in terms of these state house races that we really need to have the turnout in, it's not happening. I get messages now from doing the Bernie stuff I've been doing stuff with you guys, from people who are like, hey, I just started going to meetings in my local, Dem party, and it's awesome, and you can get involved and you can do this. People are waking up. Mike and I earlier today had a Twitter exchange about Bernie, because there's the new fall outrage is Bernie not supporting down ballot candidates and Bernie not fundraising for the DNC. So what a lot of people who were regurgitating this stuff, including Joy-Ann Reid, because I didn't see her acknowledge it at all, is back in I think November or so, the Sanders campaign and the DNC entered a joint fundraising agreement, the same type of agreement that Hillary Clinton had entered into months earlier, right? Mm-hmm. We all know from watching things play out that the DNC had no intention on having anything to do with Bernie Sanders for months, and they only did that because he was really starting to make a good showing. But no one ever followed up on that. So to sit here and say, well, he's not even willing to do fundraising for down party candidates. Okay, well, one, we don't consider down ballot candidates the same way you all do. Just like Solomon was saying, you have the establishment down ballot candidates, and then you have the Sanders Democrats that we're trying to all start getting behind to help them have a meaningful go at it in their races. I mean, these are people, the criticism is, well, if he would leverage his support behind so-and-so, if they would all run together against the establishment, I mean, just imagine what they could do. Okay, so here's my problem, right? He's one person running against the entire damn Democratic committee and all these people and the Hillary and the Clinton machine, which is like the most formidable political machine in the last 30, 40 years or so, right? Or even 50 years. I mean, when you look at, you were talking about the creation of the DLC, when you look at the genesis of the DLC, there's a great article. You guys check it out it's all over Twitter, it's all over Facebook by Boston Review, documented how the DLC kicked off at one of the most racist places in America, Stone Mountain, which is right here, a stone throws away from Atlanta, Georgia. the home of the KKK. This is where Bill Clinton and others kicked off the DLC because they needed to find a solution to bridge the gap between those who were leaving the party for the Reagan-style Republicans and this Jesse Jackson reign that was rising, this Jesse Jackson-style progressivism. That gave birth to the DLC. And we need to wrestle the party away from that. And, well, why don't you just go start your own party? You know what? There's a lot of us who are talking about doing that, but for the time being, given the two-party, but for the time being, we're stuck. We have the system that we have. Everyone can say, "Oh, we'll just go be an independent," but that's ridiculous because we only have a two-party system right here in America, and the way things are set up, you pretty much either have to create an insider insurgency like the Tea Party did on the right, or you have to figure out a way to change the whole damn system. So that's going to take time, and in the meantime.
That's the thing that's driving me so crazy about this is that we're seeing how many people are absolutely willing to redefine what they believe, and then you have another batch who, like Patrick said many months ago, they just probably never believed in any of these progressive economic policies. Let's get something straight, and I think you guys have already said this pretty much tonight, is that being socially liberal is just one half of the equation. You do not get the badge of being a progressive or even a liberal if all you are is socially liberal. At this point, being socially liberal is just a starting point for basic humanity and for not being a bigot. Congratulations, you're not a bigot. Now, if you want to really be a progressive, it's come down to economic policies, right? And so we have so many people who are in this election willing to shift gears and say, I just don't believe that, or I don't believe in that Keynesian. Let's just take Keynesian economics. You have people who are arguing against Keynesian economics when that has been a staple of progressive democratic politics for 60 years at least, if not more. And now
Vox came out with an article, Keynesian economics isn't that great. Here's why.
No, you're joking, right? I did not see that one.
Yes, I'm joking.
Oh, dude, I was about to show my
but the other issue is like I said, getting back to this notion of he's not willing to fundraise for down party candidates, because if he were to start throwing fundraisers, if he were supposed to start soliciting funds from big funders, then everyone comes in with the hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. You're this. You're that. So I mean, when you look at the way the DNC funds, when you look at the way Hillary Clinton raises money, if this is like a crux of Bernie Sanders' campaign, why would he turn around and throw that caution to the wind just to make you all happy? Like, that doesn't even make any damn sense. And people are like, well, this is the party that he's saying he needs the support from. Well, regardless of whether you agree with what is happening or not, you're supposed to get back around your candidate. And what bothered me today was this notion that for example, Donna Edwards from Maryland, Edwards, if only Bernie Sanders got behind Donna Edwards when the establishment is against her, this notion, which I don't have any problem with Donna Edwards. It was the example that was used because she is fighting the establishment. She's fighting the same fight Bernie is. Not exactly.
Yeah.
But she's a Hillary endorsee.
You took the words out of my mouth.
She endorsed Hillary Clinton. She has had early support from him. She's had almost support for Emily Smith going back from the very first when she first announced. So this notion that the establishment is against her. I mean, I understand the CBC PAC shunned endorsing her for whatever their reasons were, but that's just one entity. There are several other, Senator Gillibrand is behind her. There are several people who wield some influence who are considered establishment. Like but they just look for any reason to hate Bernie.
Do you have headphones on over there?
I do.
Okay.
I'm gonna adjust the microphone.
Yeah, no problem. Because I just wanted to add something to what you're saying. What you're saying is that even if the establishment has now come out against her, let's give her that caveat, right? Let's say the establishment is against Donna Edwards. I like Donna Edwards personally. I really do.
I do too.
Why could you have the expectation that Bernie is going to go and work and support her when she has a year ago, like what was it, December, not even December, before that, she endorsed Hillary Clinton. So it's just like it's a non-starter. It makes absolutely no sense. But it's another example of these expectations that they're placing on Bernie Sanders that are beyond unrealistic.
Her endorsement, though, is weird, though. She hasn't mentioned that. She hasn't mentioned Hillary Clinton or her support for Hillary Clinton in like...
She mentioned in an article as one of black women support her, like a month ago.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been watching her campaign events, and I haven't seen her mention it as much as I've seen others.
Right, she might not have mentioned it, but she's mentioned in a Hillary article about how Hillary has support from Black women. But what bothers me is that I think all this conversation about the fundraising stuff is a fundamental misunderstanding or refusal to understand, right? And people power. You know, Bernie Sanders is doing what he's doing almost entirely from small donations. I know everybody's tired of hearing it, but it's true. And the more and more, you know, you have sites like Solomon. Like the other night when I talked to Dr. Sobe, you know, you have the brand new Congress. You have people who have been involved in supporting Bernie, particularly those of us in whose states have already voted, who are now shifting gears. Like, yeah, we'll support and still do phone banking for the campaign, but now we're looking at, do we have local campaigns of our own? Do we have neighboring campaigns? What they don't understand is whether or not Senator Sanders is physically actually on the trail with people, which is freaking ridiculous because he's fighting for his life in a damn primary right now, right. which I don't understand what he's supposed to be doing. You know, the people who are supporting him, they get the boost from being affiliated with him.
Right.
They get, I mean, how many people who are brand new get to speak in front of a crowd of 5,000 to 10,000 people just off the whim? Like, that gets them visibility, one. Two, the same grassroots campaign and funding that is being leveraged to support the Sanders campaign, because it's not just him by himself, it's a whole damn grassroots movement which the mainstream refuses to acknowledge and understand, is being leveraged to support that, what we consider our down ballot candidates. Mm-hmm. So I mean, there's a fundamental misunderstanding of what's going on here, and you know, Joy Reid and everyone else can continue to talk in whatever land they talking in, but
it's not a misunderstanding though, and I think that's where
you're right. It's not a misunderstanding.
It is intentional. It is intentional. It is placing expectations on Bernie Sanders that they know are unrealistic, that if he actually acquiesced to what they're saying would undermine his campaign. It's a classic example of putting something out there that's unattainable, and if you even chased after it, it would destroy you. So and the other part of it is it's so nefarious because it has teeth. It has an identity politics teeth. It's saying that he doesn't really believe in revolution because he didn't support the protesters in Chicago, or he doesn't really believe, he only believes in his own revolution, right? What was her name? Joy L. Williams or whatever her name is?
L. Joy Williams.
L. Joy Williams, whatever her name is. This was her argument, right? And so she's making this argument that he doesn't really believe in a revolution except for a revolution for himself, and it has teeth because it has that identity politics line and sinker to it. All right, so let's shift gears off of that for a second.
Before you shift gears, let me bring up a comment back what you were talking about with Bernie Sanders and campaigning for other Democrats. Yeah. I don't know if anybody knows, but the Democratic Party was all but extinct in New Hampshire, and Bernie Sanders single-handedly brought the Democratic Party in New Hampshire from the brink of death. They are strong in New Hampshire primarily because he was over there campaigning for those Democrats. And that is really why he has so much support in New Hampshire that he has, because they actually know about him and know about his presence there. The Democratic Party wouldn't exist in New Hampshire if it weren't for Bernie Sanders. So that's why when they come up with this attack, that was all BS.
It's garbage. And in 2014, he was out before when he didn't have his own election to run. He wasn't running against a big machine. He was all over the place doing what? Campaigning for not just for Democrats, but for Democrats of color. He was in Minnesota. He was out in California. He was down in South Carolina. I mean, he was all over the place. And he also was out in Richmond.
Election.
Well, he was in Chicago with that's this whole notion that he should have been out there with the teachers. He was in Chicago with Chuy Garcia. I mean, he has the support of the Chicago Teachers Union, and they're a formidable. Like that's the thing though, these grassroots movements, they have proven they don't need Bernie, they don't need any damn body to stand with them to make what they need to happen. The CTU, because quite honestly, had Karen Williams not gotten sick, she would be mayor of Chicago right now. Case closed. The Chicago Tribune just ran an article that showed that the CTU, Chicago Teachers Union, has 3 times the support of Rahm Emanuel. Now, hopefully they can leverage that come voting time if this fool tries to run again. But I mean, a prime example was also going out to Richmond, California in 2014 when Chevron was trying to take over the town. And he stood with city council people, and Javonna Beckles is one of them, and she's actually, Javanka Beckles is one of them, and she is in African American for Bernie with me. And there are plenty of people who have these stories, but the media has this narrative that they need to continue to perpetuate. It's disgusting. It's on so many different issues. Now it's the abortion outrage. It's all this stuff or whatever. You got Hillary Clinton saying that the campaign is lying on her, right, when she's yelling at Greenpeace people. Like, it's ridiculous.
Okay, let's unpack some of those, because all of it.